I'm on a ferry heading over to a volcano right now.
13年いてこっちの人と結婚してそれでもよそ者って言われるからね。
なんでここに住んでるんやろうなってやっぱり怖いですよね。
怖いっていうことはもう全然ないですね。
So if you've never been on a ferry in Japan, this is what it's like. Let's go to a volcano. I am in Kyushu right now on Sakurajima, one of Japan's largest and most active volcanoes. In fact, there was just an eruption like a week ago, and I'm here to see what stories I can't find. And there are most certainly stories to be told because there are people who live right here on this volcano. So I'm hoping to see if I can't find a couple of them, maybe find an expert or two who can just tell me a bit more. I'm gonna stay here nearly an entire week to do so, but the downside being that other than today, it looks like it's gonna be rain every single day. Yay. Interestingly enough, along the side of the road, there's these shelters here. This one's about 5.5 kilometers from the South Peak crater. And these shelters are in case there is an eruption. You'll actually find these on volcano mountain roads throughout a lot of different areas of Japan. In fact, there's a pass between Nagano and Gunma that's absolutely gorgeous that has these everywhere as well, except the ones there aren't open-ended. They're more like tunnels that you can go into. This one's really overgrown, and something else I've noticed since being on the island for like the last half hour is that there's a lot of little closed off pathways like this one here that lead into different parts, but you can't get onto them. They're all closed off. Also, random pyramid. I have no idea what that pyramid's all about. So the biggest goal for today is just to grab as much footage of the island as physically possible. And because I don't know the story yet, I haven't done any interviews or found any people, I have no idea what shots to get. Whew. I think we'll figure it out though. The clock is ticking. Okay, so that was something else. I just got my first interview on the island. You can already see the excitement on my face. It was entirely coincidental. The gentleman that lived here, I came by here thinking that the house was completely empty, and it wasn't, and he was so happy to talk. But if I'm being completely honest with you right now, the Namari, the dialect he used to talk, I couldn't understand a word of anything that he was saying. Like I could kind of get it, but I'm gonna have to watch that over and over and over in order to turn it into anything useful for the documentary. This is something, and like look at the roads out here, all of these, and amazingly enough, I actually saw a city bus come through here. I thought this would be like a tiny little back street that no one comes through, but there is a shelter right here. This gentleman was really nice too. That's two. Two interviews in the span of like 5 minutes. Luckily, he was a lot easier to understand. Okay. One thing I can say about people on Sakurajima, they are rebels. That sign says no fishing. All the elders be fishing. All of them. From this tree just looking beautiful, check out this torii gate. This is actually buried under lava, which is just amazing. I still know nothing about it, but you better bet I'm gonna learn. think there's probably So there's a story right there. It said it's the place with pumice and volcanic ash accumulated up to 2 meters in a single day after the Taisho eruption in 1914. This was the big one. This was the eruption that connected the volcano to, it was a separate island until then, and now it's kind of like a peninsula, slightly connected. Wow, that is really something else. 2 meters in a single day. I think it's just crazy to know that this has been here like this since 1914, over 100 years. I'm actually really taken aback by just how much of Sakurajima, how much of this island is abandoned. It shouldn't be that surprising. It's not accessible. It is a volcano. You know, I can't imagine wanting to live on a volcano, albeit some people do. But there are just so many abandoned buildings scattered all throughout the area. I'd say so far at least 50% of all buildings that I've found have been abandoned. It's a lot. The last time that I was here, we took a ferry out to one of the nearby islands and looked back, and you could literally see a mushroom cloud of smoke coming up from the volcano. It was quite the sight to see. But that right there, that is the sun gone down over the mountains, so I'm gonna grab the last bit of footage I can before I pack it in for tonight. Morning. Something like, wow, it's already 10. I thought it was 9 o'clock. And I've actually come down to the pier to have a talk with a local expert who apparently knows everything about the volcano. From what I've heard, nobody knows more about this volcano than this gentleman does. I'm hoping that this is going to be like the key interview for the documentary, so here we go. おはようございます。はい、よろしくお願いします。よろしくお願いします。さあ、どこにしましょうか。
向こうに眺めのいいとこあるんで、あっち行きましょうかね。はい。
I learned so much from Fukushima-san, and I don't know if you can see it. There is a co-op supermarket slash multi-store. We'll call it a multi-store. That's a new word that I made up behind me. And that store there is one of only 3 places on the entire island that you can get food and supplies and everything like that. And there we go. I'm now gonna go over the interview from Fukushima-san, create a shot list, and just start hunting things down. The game is afoot. So there is an abandoned hotel on this island. It's still in moderately decent shape. Actually, when I came here, some guy had his car parked down below. And when I came to check it out, he like hid inside of his car. But there are no keys, no locks, no signs saying no entry, no windows. Whew. Wow, let's take a peek. From what Fukushima-san told me today, this was one of the main hotels on the island, and it being shut down and subsequently abandoned had a huge impact on the tourism here, obviously. And there's actually, like, all of this here is volcanic ash, like all of that. This room here is probably some kind of banquet hall or dining hall. Oh, it's just, look at the glass along the edges. I don't know about you, but I never, ever tire of checking these places out. Whoa! It's like Jurassic Park in here. It's just been taken back. Like this doorway here just leads you right into nature, almost at the point where I'm slightly worried about running into wild animals while I'm here. I've been finding so many abandoned places lately, and look at that cliff. And while I never tire of them, I don't actually think I'm going to be using a lot of the inside of this place for the documentary. So if you haven't seen it, it is definitely, oh wow, I'm super dirty now, linked absolutely everywhere. I was literally just about to record this scene that's like, by the way, I've been really lucky with the rain so far. And here we are. I'm calling it a day. I'm calling it a day, and I'm actually gonna head back to Kagoshima for tonight to try and set up a meeting for tomorrow to kind of squeeze in another video in between, because tomorrow's gonna be an absolute torrential downpour throughout the entire day. So I guess put a pin in this and hop right on the ferry. Luckily the ferry's only like 10-15 minutes, so I can jump back and forth as quick and as often as I want. And I think it's only like $2 to get on the ferry, as long as I'm not bringing the car, which was 20. This sign is terrifying. Oh wow, that is the stuff of nightmares right there. Woo! Nightmare juice. It is something like 10 a.m. and I am back on the island now. So I was driving around searching for cows. It sounds so weird to say it out loud, because this area, they keep all of their livestock completely covered because of the volcanic ash. And I found this. You can't find a tunnel of trees and bamboo like this and not walk through it, but there's an abandoned house here, there's an abandoned car here. This isn't one of the more populated areas of the island. In fact, this is one of the only houses out here that isn't a farm, and it looks like it's been abandoned for some time. By the way, beautiful weather today. Just absolutely lovely. Arrived at a place that makes magma plates, which I'm pretty sure you're going with magma plates. What are those? And I don't know. You know what? Whichever video it makes it into, I will link it right here. I don't even know how to read the name of the guy who is actually. Yeah, I think this is going to be a real good time to introduce Mitch, just out of the blue. Hi. I guess a local star, local TV personality, business owner. How would you introduce yourself? I'm doing it for you.
I'm just the Kagoshima local.
There we go. He's the Kagoshima local. Neither one of us can figure out how to read this gentleman's name. We're going to roll the dice and just see if we can't find him. This is really interesting. One of the things that I really love about the countryside of Japan, especially like this, is you can just call a place like this up and say, I kind of want to come and check this out. And they'll be like, yeah, come on out, check it out. Mitch is still over there talking to the guy. Just before we started the interview, there was a beautiful view of the volcano, and by the time we got the camera set up, it was gone. It was gone. But we got really lucky with the rain, which stopped right before the interview. It was just like, okay, go outside, hang out, enjoy an interview. Just wow. One thing that blows my mind about this area is that there's no wind.
There's no wind here because we're encapsulated. So it's like there's a mountain over there, and then there's the other side of the peninsula over there.
Wind turbines look really amazing on the mountain right now.
And they're completely stopped. I just want to point that out.
Yeah, and they're complete. Like, I have flown the drone all over the place and haven't gotten a single wind warning, and you never get that at the ocean.
Really?
すいません。
こんにちは。それぐらいで、はい、ありがとうございます。
You said this is the only beach?
This is the only beach that I'm aware of.
So Mitch is just about to hop back on the ferry. Interestingly enough, between this and Journey Across Japan with Chris, I've taken more ferries here in Japan in the last 2 to 3 months than I have in the last 15 years of being here.
Really?
I'd never taken a ferry before.
Kyushu is filled with ferries, man.
Who doesn't love a good ferry? I guess unless you hate boats. Anyway, I get to stay behind on the island for the night, and do you know how I spend my nights?
No, how do you do this?
I sit literally with a laptop plugged in and just transferring memory cards and then importing it into premium.
You're working? I go back and I just like relax and have fun and come back the next day, but you're like working? The title should be, I worked a week on a Japanese active volcano.
I want to collect some rocks. You see, at the gift shop, they had these like rocks for sale. They're actually just volcanic rocks, but I was like, oh, these ones are nice and round, and if you come to the beach, they have the nice round rocks. So. They're so round, and you can tell Mitch is like thinking right now, like he's clearly, I dropped one.
It's totally normal. Like magma, lava, volcanoes. We just get used to it.
All right. You're gonna miss your ferry.
All right.
Mitch got his ferry. Damn, see, this is what I'm talking about. Like, I try to balance this thing. There's no good way to put this here. Nope. See? Does it do? Okay, I think we're all right. I'm just not gonna move. Mitch has taken his ferry. I'm like so nervous. And actually, there's 2 pink cars right here. I just like pink cars. And now I use an inverter to get I'm just gonna hold it. I get everything charged up, get everything transferred, and then get some rest. Food too, convenience store food. But I'm done for today. I'll see you in the morning. Good morning. It is first thing in the morning, and I've actually started the day by coming out to do a little bit of exploring. Maybe meet a few people today, and wow. That was a dead end. But it turns out there's actually 4 elementary schools on the island, and each one only has a handful of children. So I'm hoping to see if I can't talk to somebody from one of the elementary schools later on today. This guy's a nice car. So let's get on the road. This is a lava observatory point. I have no idea what that means, but you can see all the volcanic ash down here. All of this around me here is lava rock, and this area looks absolutely stunning from above. But I will tell you, between all the rock and the iron and everything, it is tough to fly the drone in this area. The connection is very, very unstable. So you gotta be super, super safe. Otherwise, you're gonna lose the drone up on a mountain somewhere. I've come up to this point specifically because I want to capture the area where the volcano is connected to the mainland, and I'm out of breath. I think I got the shot. Oh, wow. I'm glad that I came up this high. Otherwise, I don't think I would have been able to. I got nothing else to say other than there's a spider on my microphone right now, and I'm not a huge fan. The day is just flying by. The day's half done, and I still haven't found anyone to interview, so. You live there now.
コーヒーでも飲もうか。
That guy was so nice. I can't believe he was like, yo, why don't we just stop and have a bit of a coffee together? This is what I'm talking about when I say that the people in this area are just incredible. So many dump trucks, every single one of them just filled with ash. Just filled with it. Gentleman from the magma plate place. Magma plate, that's a really hard thing to say. Told me that they get most of their magma rocks from over here, so I'm gonna try and take a peek. So there's a gentleman over here who said he's willing to give a little bit of an interview. He's not from the area, so let's go talk to Katse here. He's from Kyoto originally and has come out just for the sake of fishing, so he's actually sleeping in this car here. He might be one of my favorite people that I ran into so far, and oh my god. I don't know how well the camera's gonna pick it up, but everything is just covered in volcanic ash. Like there's There's dust absolutely everywhere from leaving the trunk open while I did all that. Does it show up at all? There's so much of it. Okay, we'll be closing the trunk from now on. But with that, I think I have the majority of the interviews that I want. I'll probably grab a couple extras just for good measure. The whole car is just so dusty right now. So dusty.
あの人ではないの？なんかテレビで見たことあるよ、私。でしょう。
はい。
テレビではね、何度か見たことあるの。だけれども格好も違えばほら、ね、マスクもしてるからほらね。うん、頑張ってくださいよ。日本のいいとこだけをこうね、行けるように。必ず毎日この辺を猫に餌やりながら365日出るから。
じゃあまた探します。本当に。
また来て。
ありがとうございます。では。
気をつけてね。
はい、ありがとうございます。So I was driving down this road and I saw her feeding the cats and decided to get out to say hello. And the first thing she says is, I've seen you on TV. She actually moved out here from Shikoku and has quite a few deep opinions on the area and their people, but she might have been one of my favorite interviews so far because she said when she first came out here, living on a volcano was absolutely terrifying. And now here she is. I think she's had 13 years later, so I'm gonna miss this place when I leave. Hey, Mitch, how's it going? Your elbow bump, there you go. It is like 5 p.m.
Where are we going today?
I managed to snag an interview. I don't know. I managed to snag time at one of the local elementary schools.
Okay.
Already got permission from the school and everything.
Wow.
It's feeling like a very successful day. Also, remind me later to tell you about the cat lady.
Cat lady.
Amazing.
Okay.
Just amazing.
Also, it stopped raining.
Yeah. Got kind of lucky.
I think today's gonna be a good day, Norm.
Feels like a good day already. Let's do it. Woo! We're at the school right now, but Mitch found something.
So, in the Taisho era, Sakurajima blew up, killed a bunch of people, and connected itself to the Osumi Peninsula. And this is a kind of like a monument to it. And it says, in Japanese, basically, don't trust predictions, because the observatory that was on the island said, oh, there's not going to be an eruption, it'll be fine. And then it erupted and a bunch of people died. So, this is the picture of that eruption from Kagoshima City.
It's so lovely that it has like, don't trust scientific predictions at the school.
At the school, right next to the little kids.
So for as explorative and exciting as some of these adventures can be, sometimes it just plays out like this, being stuck in a car for incredibly extended periods of time as the rain comes down. In all fairness, it was supposed to be a lot rainier this entire week, so the fact that I got as many clear skies as I did at all is a blessing, but I've been stuck here for the better part of a day now. I'm just unable to just do, and now I can hear thunder. You know what? Let's take a bit of a drive at least. Pulled over for a second because there are two spots that I want to explore. One is this shrine over here. Since the shrine gate is wrapped in rope, I'm guessing it's a fisherman's shrine, and the other is this. What is this? What? Look at this. I can't even begin to guess what this place might have been. If you have a guess, or you can figure out what it might have been, maybe leave it down in the comments. This is bonkers. That looks like it would have been a giant light that lights up the water there. Even the view from within here is crazy. Look at this. Ooh, this is wet. It's a nice, simple little shrine. I also love how no matter where you go on the island, you will definitely find brooms, which are used to sweep up all the volcanic ash. Today's the last day of this project before I head back, and I always get a little sentimental on the last day. I feel really sappy. I start looking around the place thinking of all the stuff and people that I've met and everyone that I'm gonna miss. Realistically, I always have the option to come back, but it's also part of my process in terms of kind of forcing me to get one last look at the place that I'm in, maybe from a different angle, see if there's anything I missed. And I always, that last day just feels like a rush of running around and trying to shoot and capture everything that I can. A lot of it based on the conversations that I've had with locals, so. There's one cafe on this entire island, and I've tried to swing by it every single day since coming here, and I have not been successful once. It has been closed every single day. So I think I'm gonna take one last shot and try and see if I can't swing by there. Who knows? Last day, all this bad weather, I've gotta have some good luck stored up, right? Cafe here, Cafe Shirahama, and it's closed. Looks like it might have been a nice place. The lens is gonna end up getting covered in water, but right beside it is probably one of the coolest buildings in the entire area. Check this out. The rain started to get really bad, so for good measure, I turned on the local radio, and there it was. We are one level away from an evacuation warning from the island due to heavy rains, potential landslides, and severe flooding. And if at all possible, I'd rather not have to be evacuated from the island, so. There we go. On the ferry, finally leaving Sakurajima. You know what, let's go. Let's go take one last peek. This has honestly been a really fun and adventurous week, and it obviously would have been a bit better if the volcano wasn't shrouded in clouds pretty much the entire time, and if I wasn't borderline forcefully ejected from the island by typhoon-esque rain. I hope you enjoyed the ride. Don't forget, this is video number 2. The full documentary will be linked absolutely everywhere. Check it out. Also, if you haven't hit subscribe already, this is a formal invitation from me to you to do so. Thank you so much for joining, and you know I will see you again real soon. These are rocks. They were once very hot. When I say hot, I don't mean like attractive. I mean maybe they were attractive, I don't know. I don't know what rocks, you know, think about each other, but these ones here were made out of molten lava, and they came from the volcano that you can't see because it's cloudy. And that makes for some really compelling YouTube story. Ferries are lovely.